BXT is all about the power of perspective. When building a new modern version of your organization, the same old processes and issue based approaches won't do. You need a new modern way to get there, a different way of working. BXT stands for Business, Experience and Technology. So, what's behind each term? Well, business is about the change required to shift the way an organization operates and generates profit. Experience is the human physical virtual interface required to create a useful and engaging experience. And technology, well, it's the tech required to embed the new solution and create scale. BXT unites fragmented viewpoints to get everyone to focus on a single purpose and solution, something that isn't possible when viewed through only one lens. When everyone together considers the right problem, we are capable of building remarkable things. BXT is also PwC Luxembourg's way of working. But how are we doing it? Pierre-André Honnay, Senior Business Development Coach and Facilitator, and Annabelle Buffart, UX Manager and BXT Coach, walk us through the ins and outs of this methodology. So, let's get right into it.
Welcome to a new episode of TechTalk. This is episode 22, season 5, and this one is about the power of perspective, or BXT. Welcome, Armin. How are you today?
I'm feeling great. The summer is finally kicking in full swing. Like there seems to be a festival every day to go to. It's like
That's
the
true.
last 2 years have really bottled up all the energy, and now it's just exploded like out in the open. Because I don't know in like past 2 weeks on how many events I've gone. So
That's
it's
true.
pretty good.
There are a lot of music festivals, a lot of concerts, so it's really, really nice. And the holidays are approaching, right? Your holidays.
My holidays are approaching, and I'm going to your home country. Like, aren't we best
Nice.
friends?
Yes. Well, today we have two special guests with us. Pierre-André Honnay. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Brilliantly.
Perfect. Who is a senior business development coach and facilitator here at PwC Luxembourg, and Annabelle Buffart, UX manager and BXT coach, also here at PwC Luxembourg. So welcome both. A real pleasure to have you here with us today.
Hello,
Thank you.
pleasure for
Hello.
me too.
So, Armin, do you want to talk a little bit about the topic? Because it's something that you are also very interested in and know a lot about, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a topic that is very close to my heart because it contains the X element. So, and by my background is in design, so I'm very passionate about human-centered design. And when I joined the world of business, I was very surprised back in the day. Well, I'm not that old, but back in my day, it was very much focused on what are the business outcomes we want to achieve. And it was a very dumb question to ask. Well, what does the customer want? Or even inside the business, what does the employee want? And so on. So the X element was really absent. And technology was the kind of a big promise that it would revolutionize the world of business. So everybody was looking to have the latest tech. They were building out development teams. So all of a sudden, every company was trying to be a technology company. And as we've seen over many many years, that actually didn't work out as planned. Well, strategy rarely works out as planned, right?
Right.
And I really like that one quote where they say, strategy is a pattern in a stream of actions, right? So it comes from the actions, but behind every action, behind every interaction, there is a human being, whether an employee or a customer or a supplier, even in the government and so on. So there's always a human being. So I believe that having the human element is very important. Now, the BXT approach, what it does, it's, I guess, try to combine the business experience and technology expertise. So
And
that's
that's
how I
why we
see
have
it.
our two BXT superstars today with us, right? To talk about this approach. So, can I start with the first question?
Please do.
It goes to Pierre-André. So you've been the key BXT player here in Luxembourg for some time now. Can you tell us about yourself and your journey?
Oh, sure, with pleasure. I would nuance a little bit with regards to the key BXT player. We talk about the community, and it's very important. We'll come back to that in a couple of minutes. The BXT is really something that is developed at the firm level with multiple players. I would say that I'm putting some energy and dynamics into the game. But I'm a coach. I'm a facilitator. I'm married and I'm father of two. I've always been passionate about business design and innovation. And I started my career in marketing and communications, rapidly focusing, I must say, on precision and content marketing activities. And yeah, I've been helping the partners of PwC tailor their messages and customize their business dev initiatives to very specific client groups for 15 years now. And today I'm happy to use pure coaching methodologies, as we call them, and design thinking to shape opportunities on the one hand and to co-create future services on the other hand.
Wow, that's a very interesting journey you have.
Yeah, I was happy to see this BXT opportunity coming, as it was literally answering an internal quest to really put as Armin said, the customer at the heart of everything we do, and yeah. The business design approach is really about that customer experience, but also looking at the various ways we develop business models and we implement business models, keeping the customer in our mind as the priority and the main focus point. That's really what I enjoy doing today.
That sounds cool. Annabelle, you joined the firm 2 years ago. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you discover BXT?
Yeah, so I don't have as much experience as Pierre-André, but I joined 2 years ago, and previous to PwC, I got experiences with a startup and a IT company, and I used to be a UX designer. So I kind of have the same experience as you, Armin, and I struggle also with the experience that it is a part always forgotten in a project. You have a technology project with the business, and yeah, it's difficult to have the experience in that kind of project and to be human centered. So when I joined PwC as a UX designer, well, it's to work with a big client and not with the startup mindset everywhere as I used to have. And I found a training about BXT, and my director said, okay, it would be great for you to go over there. And in the end, after this training, I found that, well, it's how I'm used to work previously. It's how I think. And by the how I think, it's the mindset of the BXT. It's to think differently as a startup mindset. It's to be disruptive, to change how we work and to align the business, the technology, and the experience in the same place. And I've talked with Pierre-André, and since then, he became kind of my mentor for BXT, and I'm working with him to evangelize BXT through PwC, and also to evangelize about that kind of mindset to think differently with our client.
Very nice. Very nice. So when you mean evangelize, it's not like a cult, right?
No. Yeah, good point. No, good point. It's a word we use in the technology environment. It's to spread the word, to explain a concept, a different concept to people who are not aware of it. So my role is really to help PwC to think differently in their business approach, to add the experience in a business and technology project, and to also help PwC and help the client to understand what's the goal to think differently and what can we gain in that approach. What will change? And it's not just to be afraid of the change, it's to embrace the change and to also be disruptive, as a startup can be disruptive.
That's a really cool concept, I think. And well, you, Armin, and Pierre-André already mentioned several things regarding BXT, but if you, one of you could summarize what is BXT all about, would be great.
I'd be happy to shed some light here. Although, yeah, as you said, we've mentioned already what that acronym stands for. So just coming back a little bit on the origin of BXT, we talked a lot about technology and how technology has been supportive, activating, enabling multiple business change and business transformation programs. The thing is that we've always been developing communication methodologies and interaction methodologies between the business people, as we call them, and basically how we build value through business, and the technology people, basically how we scale solutions, how we make it real with technology. And this combination was still missing the dramatically important aspect of experience, which is basically what people will remember. And that is only achievable through having that additional light. So if you consider this as 3 different spotlights to look at a certain reality, having the third one really puts the third dimension, which means that you get solutions that are developed in a way that they are economically viable, technologically scalable, but also desirable. And that whole element of experience made everything more easy. And this was something that our teams observed, but that our clients wanted. They wanted something different. And when we were on the way to look for inspiring ways to change behaviors that felt more authentic, we wanted to focus on quality and value. Well, basically, our curiosity led us to BXT.
What you said reminds me of a famous quote from Maya Angelou, which is, people will forget what you said, will forget what you did, but will never forget how you made them feel. And it reminds me.
True.
Yeah.
This is so true. And I must say that as a facilitator, I go through multiple BXT projects internally and with our clients. And people not only remember, but they come back and ask for more of this, because it's literally taking off the grind and it makes it fun. I oftentimes ask the people who come for workshops, when was the last time you had fun at work? And eventually, when they had recently a BXT session, the answer is, well, not so long ago.
And that's really great.
I can completely resonate with that, and I must thank Pierre-André and Annabelle for really evangelizing the BXT, because we did use it in one of the workshops just on Tuesday, and the client, well, in the end, we always ask for the feedback, right? We want to improve ourselves. And the client said that it was the best workshop they had before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and after the pandemic.
Wow, congratulations.
It was very engaging. And so, apart from it being engaging and fun, which is, of course, very important, what are the benefits of BXT that both technology and business leaders can come to expect?
Happy to take that one as well. Well, there's multiple benefits. I will focus on a couple of major ones. The very first one, and as the title of this podcast puts it, we want to unify perspectives. And what does that mean? It means that when we bring different type of people, different minds together, then we're able, thanks to these 3 spotlight I mentioned earlier on, we're able to create bold and unexpected ideas. I'm always amazed at what comes out of our creative minds of people who oftentimes tell us, I don't have the solution, I don't know what to look for. And eventually, putting the right people together actually co-activate their creativity and their collective intelligence. And that first element of unifying perspective is, for me, the key. Together with this, we also, as we call it, we transcend the standards. And what does that mean? We mean that we just go beyond the small improvement. We're not looking for small incremental improvement, but we're literally moving into a new mindset where we embrace continuous invention. And we have loop feedbacks that lead us to having that mindset versus the step progress and limited thinking of finding a problem and going directly to a very specific solution. We think bold. Third one is that, as I mentioned already earlier, while we work faster and smarter with BXT, and thanks to agility that is now combined in BXT, people and together with us achieve results. And we're not talking about months anymore. We're talking results in days. Looking at sprints and considering the BXT methodology, the first results come after the first workshop because you do and you work at the same time. Finally, and that's the heart of everything we do, it's all about the human spirit, right? As Armin, you were saying, we find the energy and we look for the inspiration to create those meaningful connections. And those meaningful connections help us make a difference. Teams oftentimes leave the room with this sense of belonging, but also alignment. And I got that feedback no later than yesterday from another team we helped. And together with the clients, the alignment was tangible and you could feel it simply by putting the right people in the room and asking the right questions. So these are 4 examples of benefits working with BXT.
And in fact, as Pierre-André says, we really remember the experience. It's the part we always forgot. It's the X in BXT, but everyone remember how they feel during that workshop. As Armin say, they remember the experience, and it's really important.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. And it's also nice that they are the results that are tangible results, which I think it's also something that people are looking forward to when doing these workshops. But we talked a lot about BXT, the theory. What about the practice? How do you apply BXT? What are some of the formats you use?
Yeah, so it seems kind of a mindset and a theory, but concretely, what we do, we facilitate exchange. We propose approach to think differently. So as Armin and Pierre-André already talked about, we organize workshop. So what is a workshop? Is to have all the key player of a project. It could be from the client and from PwC, or only with the client or only with PwC, but to have everyone in the same room. We try to do that activity outside of the common meeting reunion, to have a new space to take, and we facilitate all the interaction. So the goal is to help people to think and to give all the potential they can to solve a problem and to talk to each other. So as Pierre-André says, is to align the business part, the technology part, and to add experience on it. So to help the business to talk about all their requirements, all the risk they see in a project, and to already bring the technology side on the topic. So like that, we don't wait the end of all the description of the business requirement to give all the document to the technology to say, yeah, so that's why we need, that's all the business requirement. No, let's go to develop it and find a solution and technology solution. And most of the time you have friction at that moment because the IT department says, well, it's a good idea, but we don't have the resources, we don't have the technology, we need to think. There is some problem, you ask for this business requirement, but it's impossible to deliver it. So we bring everyone in the same place, and we, as a BXT facilitator, we help them also to think about the experience. If they want to create a new application, if they want to renew their digital environment, we bring the end user in the center of the attention. You can have a request, a business request, and technically it's possible to develop, but in the end, it's not what the user wants. The user could be the employee, or you and I as a user of an application, of our banking application. So as a BXT coach, we bring everyone in the same room during from 2 hours to, it could be a 2 days workshop to align everyone on the subject and help them to find solution. It's really intensive, but in 2 days, you can you can have everyone aware of a big problem and everyone agree on how to solve it, and to have a high-level roadmap of implementation. And the solution will be accepted by the user because you have bring the user mindset, the human centricity in the center of each reflection. I hope it's a little bit more concrete.
Yes,
I
indeed.
come back on one element with you said we work on the problem, and it is indeed a key element of design thinking that
Yes.
that you mentioned here. We work in the problem space a lot before working on the solution space. So for the listeners who are familiar with design thinking, and those who are not, I invite you to have a look at this wonderful approach. A problem well stated is a problem half solved, is a quote I often use. And it's true that spending time in the problem space to formulate and reframe a problem has tremendous value and literally speeds up everything. So that's why we don't really have formats A, B, C, but we adapt to a very specific case, don't we, Annabelle?
Yes, that's the point. We always adapt because you can have a problem A, the business come with, I have problem A, and in the fact, when you reframe the problem, you ask again, why? In the end, you don't have the same problem because you found other struggle. You have the point of view of the technology, you have the point of view of the user, and you find the inner problem. And when you have that, you know how to answer it because you will answer the right problem. And it's really the point of reframing as we do in design thinking principle.
I also I also like the fact that it's the different parts that come together and work together to find solutions. And that's really nice.
I was wondering who can use BXT. So, is there a bias towards a specific industry, for example, maybe a specific company size, or even technology, or even a company culture? Maybe Annabelle, you could answer that one because you worked for the startup and now you're working with the big companies. And what's your take on that?
So, in fact, there is no specific industry. Of course, we are in Luxembourg, so we work a lot with the financial industry. I won't say the opposite, but the methodology could apply in every kind of industry with every kind of department. I already work with a BXT, with an HR department. So we don't need to work directly with the IT department. We don't need to be mandated by the IT department. The only point you need is to have a kind of digital transformation. You need to have a need of technology because the goal of BXT is to bring the business, the experience, and the technology. But we can start to reframing the problem without knowing which kind of solution technically we will implement. But there is no kind of industry. We can also do the BXT with small and medium company. It's not only with big company. In a few weeks ago, I should start a project to reframing the problem with a medium company. There are less than 100 people in the company, and the IT department, it's 6 people. So the methodology could be applied to everyone, but you need to have to implement something disruptive. The clients need to be aware that they want to change something. You need to be aware of that culture. And mostly I work with clients who says to me, well, I want to be as disruptive as startup, but I don't know how. I don't know where I need to start. It will be impossible for us. We are too big. We are too traditional to be a startup and to think as a startup. But it's the dream of a big company like us. And when you start with that kind of mindset, you know that it will be possible. It's not impossible with a more traditional company, but it will be more complicated for us as a BXT coach and as BXT facilitator to bring on the table the value. It's harder. It's not impossible, but it's harder. It's easier when you have company who wants to change.
And that's probably where the facilitator hat that we wear is helping us, because we oftentimes remind people as rules of engagement when we start a workshop that people need to check out their ego at the door. And what does that mean? It means that judgment is not allowed in the workshop. And when I say judgment, I also include self-judgment. People are oftentimes moderating or actually refraining themselves from investigating a problem and looking for the right angle to look at the problem. And people are sometimes surprised to discover that if they give themselves permission to talk about the problem freely and without any judgment, it's amazing what they can achieve.
Yeah, I think that's really important, the culture as well. Can you tell us some concrete use cases where you saw tangible benefits from this methodology? You've mentioned a few, I think, but maybe you have some more you'd like to highlight.
Yeah, I have a big one in mind. It's one of our biggest projects. It's for the financial industry in Luxembourg. It's really a traditional company. From years ago. They're really traditional in the top level management, in how they deliver in silos. So it's a really traditional way to work. They came to us to say, well, we need to embrace the digital transformation, but we don't know how. So that's the first step. Based on that, we propose to them a new approach to think. Either we can do the digital transformation as we know, so to implement the cloud, to review their IT environment and to put agility, as it's common everywhere since for more or less 10 years now. But we propose to them to reframe their problem. Is it really the digital transformation they want? What's in the wording digital transformation? How they understand that? We started with several workshops to reframe that. What is the digital transformation for us? Based on that, we found 7 big subjects to develop about the digital transformation. So, for example, one of them was to be more employee-centric. A second one to be more client-centric. So it's part of the digital transformation because you are more client-centric by leveraging the technology. And with that, the big point decided by the top management was to develop the employee centricity. And it's not really common to take the point of view of the employee, because mostly when you think about the experience, the UX part, you think about the end user, so the client. And it's due to the several workshops we have done that we have helped them to find that they can develop and improve their employee centricity. And it was the main goal for them. The first goal is to improve the employee centricity. Because if you improve the employee centricity, you will gain time. And if you gain time, it's the time that the employee can use for the end user client. So with that big subject, we align we align everyone and we develop an application with the employee for them and to gain time.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Armin, do you have one last question, I think?
Yeah, we're almost out of time, and I wanted to say in full disclosure that we've had an episode on the BXT already 3 years ago. And in fact,
Well,
it's an episode I did with Susan. And Susan is
Yeah.
still with the firm, but she's working on different topics, actually applying BXT methodology with our clients on a specific technology solution. But we thought it was a really long time ago. So, what has changed in the BXT space since then, Pierre-André?
Well, yeah, I totally agree. A lot has changed, and thanks for the opportunity to get that refresher. And today, and since the last episode, BXT has pretty much evolved into a whole new way of working. As you've heard, our clients are very enthusiastic, and internally we've leveraged an increasing community. And thanks to this, we see more and more projects internally with our clients and in every line of services. We've seen the deployment of BXT Agile also as an evolution of project management, walking away from waterfall to this agility combined with BXT. And last but certainly not least, we're very excited to see that there's an increasing leverage of BXT to support the new equation. And this is something that we're very, very excited to see and to look forward to, because the new equation is our groundbreaking approach to serve our clients and our stakeholders. And having BXT combined with the new equation will definitely drive to a third episode, hopefully.
yes, hopefully. And let's see what the future has in store for BXT.
Yeah, definitely exciting times ahead for us. Thank you so much for being such a great guest speakers, and I really do
Yes.
hope that listeners will take an opportunity to reflect on their approach to customer centricity and the employee centricity, and feel free also to reach out to Pierre-André and Annabelle in case you've got any questions or would like to seek more practical tips.
Yeah, please do.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Carla and
having us.
Armin.
Thank you so much. So, Armin?
That was TechTalk, technology made simple
Over a cup of coffee. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that's all for today. This is Tech Talk, technology made simple over a cup of coffee. Thank you for listening, and until the next episode.